Tracalde was his first name. But he took Ignatius Loyola, the loyal fire, the one who is the faithful fire to the church, the flame, the faithful flame. Ignatius Loyola. It was he. Here we are. And his symbol. Ignatius Loyola designed these exercises as an intensive program of psychological indoctrination to align the initiate's individual thoughts to papal authority, in this case to the Black Pope. These exercises are based on Loyola's experiences of anguish, pain, and suffering during his time at the Franciscan nunnery, where he was recuperating from a cannon wound that he got during the fight with the French. His wound was so severe that during his painful convalescence, the wounded leg got shorter than the other leg. So, for painful years of his convalescence was actually the things that he did to try to straighten and stretch his leg back. You know, back in them days, he had his leg on a rack, and he tried to pull the leg that the body had tensed up. He tried, his torture and his pain is, he learned pain and suffering, trying to lengthen his leg again and trying to get his hip back in order, because, you know, back in the days, he was at court, and he used to get all the women, but now he was hunched over doing all this shit. He did all his things he can to get his leg back out there so he can, you know, try to jump some more fat back, but he couldn't. You know, the baby was looking at him like, get away from me. So what he did was, what did he do? He went off into a Franciscan nunnery and isolated himself, started beating on himself and shit, because, you know, white people, you got to look up, there's a disease that white people suffer from, that you need pain in order to get sexual pleasure. So, you know, he could, but it's not masochism, it's an actual disease name.
Oh, okay.
Well, of course, you know, we're talking about sadomasochistism, so we can put that word in there. But he used to whip and beat on himself, pull on his shit, he would sacrifice himself, he would do, and instead of now having the ladies, he turned his sexual favor over to Mary. See, at the time, the Catholics didn't consider Mary to be anything up there with the three parts of God. Now, under Ignatius Loyola, that's where you see them worshiping Mary as the Queen of Heaven now. Mary wasn't the Queen of Heaven. That's where Gibson was talking about the introduction and all the shit happened. But he's working for them anyway. Any place that you go, that you see this symbol, know that the Jesuits run it. Any church, and I saw one church, I think it was in Washington, where there was a Baptist church that had that shit out there on one of their little flyers. And what does it mean? But they're telling you what they think you think it means, but as I did in my Code Breakers 3, it means Isis, Horus, Heru, Set, Seb. Now, as you can imagine, at the time, medical science was under the auspices of the church, which meant that the therapies were worse than the wound itself. Loyola eventually gave up trying. He subsequently left the convent abbey and joined the priesthood. He was said to have become an embittered man because where he was once handsome, dashing soldier of the court of the king, commanding the attention of a lot of the women, now he was a gimp, walking a lateral bob. In other words, he would walk laterally like this. He would bob when he walked. So he hid himself from public life, and as the former soldier dedicated his time to finding ways to recapturing the former glory of the Roman Church, because during the time when he became a priest, Catholicism was down, the Reformational priesthood was up, and everybody was breaking away from Catholic influence. He said that cannot be. So he went to the Pope and asked the Pope for a charter to begin the Society of Jesus, which became the Jesuits. And they were soldiers. They were the militaristic organization for the soldiers. In other words, Rome could not field an army like they did to rule the country and rule the world anymore. What they did was they folded it over into the Vatican, and thus the Jesuits became the army of Rome, the centurions of Rome, and the Black Pope became Caesar. So you have a whole nother kind of Roman war going on, because all of your civil laws means it comes from Rome. It's all Roman-based law. All of your civil laws are from old Roman laws. The Roman black laws, they were called. So, through his experiences at the nunnery and the abbey, where he was going through all these pains, as well as his membership at that time, the Illuminati was called the Alumbrados, because the first Illuminati started in Afghanistan. The second one started with this man. Here's the man that helped Adam Weishaupt, ex-Jesuit, to infiltrate the Masonic order, which was away from government. It was a secret kind of order where the people helped each other, because most of them were from the high class, in the middle class, the people who were merchants, the builders and so forth, who were being taxed and taken over by couldn't get jobs, couldn't feed their own family and people, and these people got together with the incursion of the high sciences from people who came from the East and from knowledge, because they ain't had shit in the West. There is no spirituality that came up in the West. Know this, nothing spiritual ever came up in Europe. Nothing. Everything they got from the East. And they took that, and with that incursion, tried to resurrect through what they call the Renaissance, the ancient Moorish information African Kemetic Commission rites. This man, along with this man, put together the Illuminati. Born in Ingolstadt, Germany, in the heart of Roman Catholic Bavaria, from which originated the orders of the 30-year war. The order again is the Jesuit. Whenever you see the order, that movie that came out, it's about the Jesuit. All the stuff you see about monsters and all that shit, that is nothing more than masks for telling you about what the Jesuit does underhandedly. So anytime you go to see a movie like Hellboy, or when you go to see, anybody saw Hellboy yet? If you looked at Hellboy, Hellboy carries talismans that were given to him directly from the Pope, the Vatican. Wait now, listen carefully. Hellboy uses talismans given to him from the fucking Vatican. Hellboy!
Wake up.
That's right. Break it down.
I want you to sit with that shit for a minute. He says it in the movie. He says it in the movie.